Hi guys, welcome to another video of Node Express MongoDB Crash Course 2023. So now let's talk about updating and deleting our nodes using an API, and I'll be building this API and getting the data from here, updating any particular node from this array of objects, and also I'll try to delete any particular node from this array of objects using an ID of particular node, right? So now let's move forward, and I'm going to write patch. Patch is actually used to update any particular entry in our database. There is another function called put. Put is also used to update that, but mostly it's better to use patch, because in patch, if any particular chunk of a particular object, let's say if there is a node and we only want to update the name of particular object, then it's better to use patch. Even it supports both the chunks as well as the complete updation of the object. So now I'm going to write a new API. So I'm going to write API slash nodes slash ID, right? Because for updating the nodes, we need to check that which node needs to be updated. So that's why we need to pass an ID from the client. And currently our client is the postman. So here, first of all, we need to have this nodes. So I'm going to take this nodes as well. Let's take the nodes along with an ID which is coming from the request object, right? And now we need to get the data, that what's the new data from which we need to update. So the new data can be received from the request.body object. So I'm going to take the new data, request.body, and this is going to give us the data which needs to be updated. Okay, so now first of all I will find that which tour needs to be updated using this ID, and I will iterate through all these nodes and match it with an ID, and I'll fetch the particular node. So I'm going to write tour node equals to, and then I'm going to write nodes dot find node, and then it's going to return me node dot underscore ID equals to ID, right? Because this nodes array containing the ID with the underscore, that's why we need to match it, and this particular ID is the one we are getting from the URL, right? And now I need to get the node index, that at which index of this array this node exists. This is for our logic. You can build your own logic for updating these nodes. So const node index equals to, and I can write nodes dot find index, and then I'm going to write the same thing as is. Okay, so it's going to return me the node index. Now I will check if the node exists. There can be a chance that the ID which is coming from this URL does not exist in any of the nodes. So ID may not be matching with any of the IDs of this array. So we first need to check, right? And if the node does not exist, then we can return an error message. And for the error message, I'm going to copy this whole line from the top and return 400 node with this ID does not exist, and this is the right error. And next, if it is found in the nodes array, then I'm going to uh, run a loop, and I'm going to find the key and value of object dot entries and then the new data, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to iterate through all the properties which is coming from our client side, from the postman. So it can be only title, it can be title and description, it can be title, description, created at. Okay, so now I'm going to iterate through the node. This is what we have found, and then the key equals to value. Okay, so now this node which we found from this logic, we are updating the values of each key which is found within this new data. Okay, so now we need to update the array of nodes using the node index. So here we can update it with the node. And now I can update it. I'm going to copy this whole write file. This is just the logic that I'm building here because we are using the constant file, and you can understand, if you know JavaScript, you should be able to understand it properly. Okay. And it's the nodes, and it's going to update the nodes over here, and then the message success node is updated. Okay, and I think this is fine. Now I'm going to run the script. So node index.js, so it's running on our server 4000, and now I'm going to go to the postman, and I'm going to duplicate this, and I'm going to update node, right? And I'm going to update its method to patch, and also I need to pass an ID. Okay, let's get all the nodes first. So I'm going to send, so these are all the nodes, and I'm calling it using this API. Let's try to update the title of the description of this node ID. Okay, so I'm going to pass here 456, and in the body I'm only going to pass the description. Okay, so this is the CSS, and I'm going to update this. I like CSS, right? So I've updated the description. Now let's send it. All right, so now you can see that it has returned us all the nodes array, and this is what we are returning, I think. So yeah, we are returning all the nodes. And now if we go to the get nodes, and you can see this is the description. Now if I go to the send, it needs to be updated. Now the description is updated, and if we go to the nodes JSON, and let me format it with the prettier, and the second description of the second object is updated as well. So we have successfully updating the this nodes, and we have written this API. All right, later on we'll be writing and connecting with the real database rather than this nodes.json file, and this code will be a lot better than this, but for now we are just using this file and considering as the database, right? And now let's build up the delete API. Okay, for deleting we also need this ID. So I'm just going to copy this line and paste it, and I'm going to update the method delete, and this and this. And now I need to get all the nodes as well as the ID as well as the nodes index. So I'm going to copy these lines, and I'm going to remove these lines as well. We don't need a node, we only need the index as well as the ID. Okay, so now we need to check if it exists. We could check it with the note as well. Since we don't have a note, we can check if the index exists or not. Okay, so if the node index does not exist, means that node with this ID does not exist. All right, So but we didn't check that. Let's try to run this update, and I'm going to update its id. Now let's check if it works or not. So let's send. Yeah, so it is returning now. This node with this id does not exist. That's working fine. Okay. And now we can actually remove a particular node from this array, and we can update this array as well and write it inside the nodes.json file. So I can do it like nodes dot splice is the function of the javascript, and then I can write node index, and then how many values I needs to remove. I only want to remove one. Okay, so this has been done. Now let's copy this and paste. So successfully node is deleted. I think that's fine. So now let's save it, and let's go ahead, and I'm going to duplicate this, delete node, and I can write delete. So this is the 456, and I will be able to, let's not delete that those values which we have created ourselves. Let's delete the last one. So I'm going to copy the id of the last one, and I'm going to paste over here. And I don't need any body here because I'm not sending any data, so I need to select none from here. And now let's save it, and I'm going to send it. So page not found. So let's see. Let's try to rerun the script. Okay, because we have updated our API. So API slash nodes ID, and it is deleting. Now let's go, and let's call it. Yeah. So node is deleted. Now these are all the nodes. Let's go to the end and see if that node exists. So yeah. So this ID node have been deleted successfully. That's perfect. And now let's go over here and see if it is updated here as well. So yeah, there are four. Earlier there were five. So our delete API is working fine. So in this video, we have completed all the CRUD operations, adding, getting, updating, and deleting the nodes. In the next video, we will try to optimize this API structure, because there can be hundreds of APIs. We cannot keep on writing like this. So in the next few videos, we will be optimizing this API structure and creating few more files, and also updating few, how we can add some middlewares, and optimize how it looks currently. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe my channel. It will really help me create more videos, and see you in the next video.